real good precursor for making you strong. And I had no flexibility. So I still don't have flexibility.
I don't either. I got a stretching machine at home. I started my routine, so we'll see how
And I tell everyone, it's not how flexible you are, it's how you use the flexibility you have. Learn to live with what God gave you. Give yourself as much as you can to help you along the way, but some things are just genetics.
What is your opinion on cross-training? I study judo, and Taekwondo is my love. That's my mainstay. I love Taekwondo, but I also study judo, and I absolutely love judo too. What's your opinion or beliefs on cross-training in martial arts?
I believe that a master of a specific martial arts is probably as dangerous as you can be. If you really master your art, you're as dangerous as somebody who's done a little bit. You do a little of this, a little of that, a little of that. You know a little bit of everything, right? But you've run across a master who's seen everything that you've done. And to him, it doesn't mean anything, okay? Because he's mastered his art. All right, whether it's Tai Chi, Kung Fu, Taekwondo, Karate, okay, whatever. They're really dangerous, you know?
Right.
And so they say when two masters spar, the first person who blinks loses. That's it, you know, you understand, because that's how good they really are. And cross-training, I think, is fine, okay, for the person who doesn't want to become like a master. The problem with cross-training with multiple martial arts, okay, where you're taking seriously, want to be a high-ranking belt in this martial art and a high-ranking belt in this martial art, okay, they can sometimes bleed together and then infect both styles to where you're not really doing this style, you're not really doing that style, you're kind of doing a melding of styles, okay, and it depends on your outlook. Do you want to be a master at one, okay, or a master or a jack of all trades? And it's, as far as I'm concerned, like Taekwondo is a Judo, which is Korean Jiu-Jitsu, Hapkido, Korean Aikido, right?
Yeah.
All right, and a mixture of Shotokan Karate and different styles that formed into Taekwondo, Kwan Bump, which was originally a Taekwondo style, you know, all those things kind of melded into a mixture of martial arts. So you're really doing kind of a mixed martial art when you're training in Taekwondo. And that's why I remember one time I had an argument with a guy who was in Jiu-Jitsu. And I'm not saying...
Brazilian or Japanese?
Japanese.
Okay.
And he told me Jiu-Jitsu was better than Taekwondo. I said, not if I punch you out before you get me in a hold. And then he put me in a hold. And you have good schools in Jiu-Jitsu, you have good schools in Taekwondo, you have good schools in Karate, okay, good schools in Kung Fu, good, you know, and you have bad schools. So the guy was third dan and he was 26 years old. So you're a third dan black belt in Jiu-Jitsu at 26. So yeah, okay. And he's trying to tell me how to run my class when I was teaching Taekwondo at Robert Morris College, what was effective self-defense and what wasn't. I said, okay, put me in a hold. Put me in a hold. The second and a half later, he was pinned and screaming. He put me in 10 different holds. I was freed in the second and a half, and he was pinned and screaming each time. That doesn't mean that I was better than him, just meant that my understanding of fighting was better than his understanding of his jiu-jitsu.
That's fair.
You know, because I was a master at 5th Dan when I did that. This guy was 3rd Dan, okay? And I tend to think that if you're 3rd Dan at 22, that's possible, okay? But I don't know, in jiu-jitsu, it's a long time to get your black belt. I think it's 10 years.
It's a long time, yes.
And so, to see him, if he started at 12, then he's 3rd Dan, how did he get there so fast? You know, and I understand 3rd Dan is like class to professor. All right, those guys kind of know what they're doing.
Right.
I would expect that it would be quite difficult to escape from someone who was really understood what they're doing, because he was so young and he probably went to a not so good jiu-jitsu school. You know, where there's a lot of schools out there, whether Taekwondo, Karate, there's a lot of martial arts schools that just want to make a lot of money.
Right.
Okay, my opinion of that is, give them quality and you'll survive a long time. for a fair price. Give them quantity, and you'll survive with great wealth for about 3 to 5 years. And then people catch on when the bully in high school beats him up.
So,
okay, you lose your credibility as a school.
You're right. So, the McDojo. The McDojo's been around for a long time, and for you folks that don't know what I'm sure you all know what a McDojo is.
Cookie cutter school.
Yeah, it is somewhere where you go in, you pay a certain amount of money, you have a black belt within
2 years.
Less than, some are less than that.
I know, 1.5 years I've seen.
Right. So
some 1 year.
What are key factors to identify when you walk into a school, Grandmaster Murzda, when you walk into a school and you look at a school, what are key things that you're looking for to say, is this a good school? Is this a school that's right for me? Is this a McDojo? You know, what are you looking for?
If I'm observing class, I want to see what they're doing. Like, I want to see if they're respectful. I want to see if they're crisp, clean. Whether or not they say yes or no, sir. Whether or not they follow the mannerisms that are expected of them. Also, how the instructor treats their students. Are they coddling them, or are they firm but just?
Is the discipline there?
Is the discipline there? There's a difference between yelling at people for the sake of yelling and yelling at people because you know they can do better.
To motivate.
You want to motivate, because if you go and play football and the guy's yelling at you, and you pull your son out of the football team because that coach yelled at him, that's the way he was trained to teach people, how to motivate them. Why are you doing so bad? Put your effort into it. Why are you leaving that hole, but when you could close that easily? What is wrong with you today? I'm yanking off the roster for now. You sit on the bench. So he quits. What did the parents teach him? That the moment your boss tells you you're not doing a good job, you should find another job.
I don't think that works in today's society.
They're getting scarcer and scarcer, and sometimes you have to create your own position.
Right.
You know, I was a manager for Bob Evans for 5 years, and all I wanted to do was get back to teaching. So I quit and created my own position in community that nobody knew me. I had no one knew about Taekwondo. Nobody knew me, never heard of it.
That's down in Worcester, correct?
That's in Worcester, yeah. And there were 2 schools, and they were big, and at that time. And then I opened up, and first 3 years were really, really rough. Okay, because people used to call me and tell me that I was teaching Asian philosophy, and I was infecting the community with horrible thoughts of the devil and stuff. What does martial art have to do with the devil?
Nothing.
I mean, all I know is that I learned how to fight and I saved my life, and that was, to me, a God-given gift, you know, and it had nothing to do with the devil. Had nothing to do with prayers to anything. We weren't summoning demons so that we could fight better.
Right.
I didn't understand it. It took me 3 years to change the philosophy of the people in Worcester. And you know how I did it? I said, if you think I'm such a bad man, I'm going to raise money for every woman's house. I'm going to raise money for the blood drives, doing blood drives. I'm going to raise money doing this and that. I said, I'll do kick-a-thons, break-a-thons. I needed to raise money for charity in the area. And I became that person that people said, wait a second, he's doing good things. So is it really that he's teaching? How could a man do good things and be bad? How could his style be bad if they're doing these things to raise money to help other people?
Well, Worcester's kind of like in the Bible Belt of Ohio, correct?
It is.
So
there are 13 churches right around my studio.
There's a huge religious influence, and I can understand, you know, they're apprehensive to have a school to teach self-defense and fighting. I get that, but I don't get if
there
there's already
was once a Christian organization that really tried to put me out of business. Okay, and it was a Christian karate organization. Now, I'm not saying...
Were they trying to put you out of business because they wanted to maintain their business, or were they trying to put you out of business because they didn't like you?
They feared me. At one point, they said, I met the guy, and he said, I'm going to say a prayer for you if you don't mind. I said, go ahead if you feel you must. And he went, and he said, I know you don't pray. I said, how do you know I don't pray? How do you know I'm not? Because I was Catholic, okay? And they just assumed because I taught martial arts because I taught the philosophies of patience, persistence, understanding how to get along with people, overcoming adversity, indomitable spirit, never giving up, always looking for an opening and exploiting the openings that you're given, okay, so that you can advance in life, that somehow that was anti-religious, and that I was basically teaching tenements of the devil.
Well,
I didn't understand it.
It's funny that you say that, because I've been to your tournament multiple times, and it's actually housed in a church. And if that's
absolutely,
are you going to burst? I've never seen you physically burst into flames when I walked in there. So
yeah, that's the truth. And the reason why I hold it in a church is because the public school system in Worcester charged so much money. I'm sure for a tournament space, and the church was way cheaper. They were understanding. They gave us a lot of leeway, and they've supported us now, I think, 15 years. You know, we've been at that location, and one of the grandmasters asked me, why don't I go to a bigger spot? I said, well, I could hold it here and make money for Christmas for my family, and hold a nice Christmas party for my dojang, okay, and give back to my students, you know, or I could give all my money to the school and barely break even. Right. And any businessman worth his salt is going to say, I need to make some money. Correct. Okay. You hold an event, like if you have, let's just say Bill Wallace comes in, Grandmaster Wallace, he gets paid to come in. Absolutely. Right? Where does that money come from? From all the people who attend the seminar, right? Correct. So you have to figure out the price. You have to make enough money to pay Grandmaster Wallace, to pay for the location to have it, and then it's nice to have a few bucks in your pocket. And 9 times out of 10, you're fronting that money, so you have to make it all back. Oh, yeah, on 9 times out of 10, it's coming out of your pocket. Like the tournament that I run, for medals, it cost me about $3,500 to buy medals for $125. Fantastic. I've won a few of them myself. Oh, thank you, thank you. So, excuse me. Speaking of the Battle of Worcester, do you have a date planned for that yet, sir? November 7th. November 7th in Worcester, Ohio. I will put the dates and the information in the tournament packet up on my website, and it's a fantastic tournament. It's an intimate tournament. You know, it's well run, and you know, it's very well organized. You're not sitting there till 8 o'clock at night waiting to leave, and there's no hesitation in the rings or anything like that. You've got Gumdo, Hedo Gumdo sword fighting. With Gumdo sword fighting, we have point style sparring. We don't do Olympic style because we've never had a call for it. Okay, I used to offer it, but I might get 5 or 6 people involved in Olympic. Right. And I buy all these medals for every division, and I have 6 fighters. Right. Cancel the event. Okay. Smart businessman. Okay, that's it. Okay. Forms, breaking, weapons, competition, both Gumdo and form competition. Okay. We introduced a similar thing called like a 1-point scoring, like Ippon scoring. Like a golden point rule. 1 point wins. Yeah, like 1 point. Yeah. If you're into Olympic sparring, it's called the golden point. First point wins. Match is over. And we do have grand champion for form and fighting. Okay, for juniors, women's, men's, and boys. Okay, the problem is that sometimes you have two black belts. That's all that sign up to fight. So he wins first place in male sparring, and then he goes, I'm automatic grand champion. I said, no. You go, why? I said, because you have to have someone to fight. Well, I just fought. But you fought one fight, and you think you deserve a grand championship. No. Okay, because grand championship was all the different divisions, age divisions fought. Okay, the winners of each one fought again at the end of the night, and that winner fought the person who won the grand championship the year before. If they didn't, the winner of that fight would become grand champion. The next year he was invited back to fight. Nowadays, most people don't even care about that rule. They just want to come back and fight and refight for the grand champion. But the original way they did it was they would take the grand champion from last year, and all these different weight divisions and age divisions would fight. They would come up with a guy to fight grand champion, and this guy would come in fresh. So maybe this guy had 20 fights under his belt to get to where he is. Now he's got to fight the fresh grand champion who came in just to fight his fight. Now the advantage is that you're warmed up and you're ready.
Right.
Disadvantage is you're warmed up and exhausted.
Correct.
Okay.
It's a double-edged sword.
Right. So, and this guy's not warmed up, so maybe his timing's off. Right. But that's how they used to decide. And if you beat the grand champion, you became the new grand champion. You know. But that's kind of those kind of things have kind of gone off to the side. Now it's just every year it's a new grand champion.
Right.
You know, but you still have to have enough people to host more than one fight. You should have like 4 or 5 fights to become a grand champion from the winners of each of the divisions.
Right.
Okay, if you can't do that, then what's the point of being a grand champion? You won black belt and now you're grand champion. That's like, okay, I wanted black belt forms. Here, grand championship trophy because you won in form. Well, if there's only one division of women and there's only one division of men in black belt, okay, all 18 to 35 and 18 to 35 here, then we give away one form grand champion for adults because we'll have the men and the women compete, okay? And believe me, nowadays the women can do just as good as men in form competition.
Well, look at a few women. Grandmaster Rosemary out of Youngstown. She was an incredible forms.
Grandmaster
Isabella. She is an incredible forms competitor. Look at Grandmaster Cynthia Rothrock. I mean, she was
Master Orwell.
I mean, there are women out there that I would not want to step in a ring with and attempt to do what they do on the mats with when it comes to forms. You know, they're flexible, they're powerful.
Good fighters too.
I've never fought once, so I don't want to see that either. But it's amazing. So, as you get older and you're training martial arts, obviously technology's changed the way we take care of our body, the way, you know, the warning signs that we see in our body. As you get older, what is your best advice to take care of your body when training at a high level of martial arts? You got your kicking, you got your sparring, you got your forms, and, you know,
realize your age.
Realize your age. Okay.
Realize your age. Like I did gymnastics in demonstrations. Okay, I would do round off, back handspring, back tuck, and I'd go break a board. All right, really look good, but at 45, if you break your arm, who's teaching?
You're not.
You break your leg, who's teaching?
You're not.
So you have to, like at 45, I decided no more gymnastics during demonstrations. Too dangerous. Not because I couldn't do it, but because the result is that I cannot teach for a while. And if you can't teach, there goes your foundation, not only for you, but for all your students. You know, and then you ask substandard people who are learning how to teach to run your dojo while you recover. And then you lose students because they're not getting the same level of training. You know, so there's a lot of things to think about. Also, as you age, you want to do, like, don't do quite as explosive to start. Warm up, stretch out, move a little bit, get your mind in the right frame before you try to do full out anything. You know, form shouldn't be done full out unless you warm yourself up a bit. Right. You know, because I've always been a fan of when I do forms, when I punch, I want to punch so hard that my spine rattles. And everyone said, well, why do you want to punch that hard? That way when I actually hit somebody, my spine might rattle, but those are going to break. Okay? It is not about wanting to fight, but if you must fight, you should win in 1 punch, 2 punches. You know, it shouldn't be anything else. If you kick a guy, like you would successfully hit him really hard, there's an old saying, say 1 punch kill. It's not that he killed you in 1 punch, it's that the fight was technically over in 1. The second or third was icing on the cake to make sure you don't have to worry about him anymore. Okay.
I believe Grandmaster Scott Dedante made mention of this. You know, when you hit somebody and they fall down, you don't want to. No, it was Grandmaster Mike Andrus said this in one of our interviews. You don't want to give them the opportunity to get back up in a street fight situation. You don't want to even take that chance. If they're coming at you with a knife and you end the fight, you knock them out, and they're laying there. You don't want them to get up you have to protect yourself.
If they're out, they're not getting up.
Well, if you knock them down.
If you knocked them out, they're not getting
knock
out.
down, as I should say.
You know, but if the guy comes at you and break his hand, he's not coming at you with the knife in his hand. 90% of people are right or left-handed.
Right.
Mostly right-handed, about 80% I think are right-handed, and 20% could be left-handed. And then there's like 5% who are dual-handed. So most of the time, if you broke that hand that they will use, they're not going to hold that weapon on you. Okay? Now, you have a pretty good chance of not having to worry about it once that is done, or the person is unconscious. Okay, but there's always still that person who can use his left hand as well as right.
Correct.
You know, so you have to be careful no matter what. My opinion is that if you're doing in a self-defense situation, an additional shot just to make sure they're out, and then walk away. You know, because if you strike a person after they've stopped fighting, it's no longer self-defense. It's assault. So if I knock you down and you're out and I walk away, that's I don't think I did enough to him. I come back and I kick you in the face. Now I could be charged with assault.
Yeah.
And that's not even technical. That's blatant.
Right.
This fight was over, but you had to come back and kick his butt some more.
Right.
That's a big no-no. That's why they call it self-defense. Self-defense is when the fight is over, it's over.
You're right.
You know?
So, moving on, in martial arts, I train under Master Darren Warren and Grandmaster AJ Perry, and
both excellent.
I've been learning an immense ton from Grandmaster Perry as of late. We've been on the phone, and he's been sharing pictures of my late eternal Grandmaster Youngstown Kim out of Cleveland, and we were talking about demonstrations in martial arts. Demonstrations, and he shared a couple with me that he's done where he was standing on glass and did a side kick, and where he pounded a nail through a board using a
knife hand
strike. And it's funny because he posted that, and then now he's getting backlash from a certain individual. And why the animosity in martial arts? Why do people try to?
What kind of backlash is it?
Well, they're saying, you know, when he held the nail with his hand, he was striking his hand instead of the nail, which he wasn't. He was bracing the nail, striking the nail.
Wait a second. You think he's hammering up and down like this?
No.
They're
saying he grabbed the nail like this, and then he's striking his hand while holding the nail using that. So.
Well, you got this little piece of metal over him that you're pushing down with fleshy skin that gives? That makes no sense.
No, my
whatever the complaint is, I'm saying.
Right, but my question is, you know, you see a martial artist do a demonstration. I've seen you break bricks with your head. I've seen you break tile with a knife hand strike or a palm heel strike. I've seen you do these things. I've seen videos of Grandmaster Perry doing the incredible things that I've seen him do, where he's standing on glass
and breaking boards. Right. I've seen him do it.
And I've
seen him sparring glass.
Right, and I
think I saw a couple masters sparring glass, broken glass.
Yeah. And I've seen pictures of Eternal Grandmaster Youngstown Kim laying on nails where he put a brick on his, and somebody smashed it with a sledgehammer. Why, as martial artists, do we try to point out flaws in others when they're doing these incredible feats of what they've been trained to do? Why do you think? Is it jealousy? Is it, you know?
It's easy to call foul on something you don't understand. Okay, like I broke a concrete from 1 inch with palm strike. Okay, 1 inch weight, 3 inches thick. Okay?
Right.
And sometimes less than that. My biggest break ever, I picked up my elbow when I was testing 7th Dan, about a centimeter off the concrete slab, and I dropped it inside, and I broke it. I went, that's what I did, and I broke it. And there were a bunch of people on the panel who went like this, but there was one person who just wrote something down. That was Grandmaster Charles. Now, were they rolling their eyes because they thought it was fake? Because I stood up and walked across it to prove it was real, okay? And yet, with no effort, I broke it. Now, people could say, oh, it was fake. It was cut. One time I did a 5-board break with a headbutt, okay, and they said that I scored the boards. I said, what do you mean scored the boards? I had never even heard that term. A bunch of people in Pittsburgh said I was a cheat. I scored the boards. I didn't even know what that meant. And they had to tell me that they cut a small section to weaken the board, and then so it's easier to break. The thought never occurred to me because I was a Boy Scout. I was a person who thought of honor or respect. It was disrespectful to do things like that.
Right.
You know, and if you and I were working self-defense and you lifted your leg when I swept you, I would scream at you or I'd hit you. And why? I said, don't you ever pick up that leg. If I can't sweep you, then I should work harder to sweep you. I should have to be able to put you down. You should not lift your leg ever when somebody's sweeping you, okay? Because it's disrespectful to them. It says, oh, I'm gonna help you because I don't think you can do it.
Right.
And so I think a lot of these people don't understand what they're seeing, so they have to debunk it. And that's just sad. I mean, one time I started my tournament, I broke 3-inch concrete with 1-inch palm strike. I did an elbow strike to 2 inches. I punched 2 inches of concrete. I headbutted an inch of concrete.
I was there.
And a step behind side kick.
Right.
Okay, for 2 inches of concrete. And I did it boom, 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 boom. And I was in a suit and a tie with no shoes on. And I said, I just wanted to show everybody that masters can do this stuff. We are not fake. This is not fake concrete. This is, look at the concrete, come check it yourself. And I said, I did that to start the tournament to prove that not only myself, but every Grandmaster and Master on that panel had the same ability.
I believe Grandmaster C.S. Kim was there at that.
Yes, I think so. And it was to elicit respect for all those people who would be judging you and all those people who trained their students. Because, you know, all these people can do this, whether they could or couldn't. They had the ability to do it. You know, and so I think people who look at something and say it's fake is because they have nothing better to do. They're just they can't do it, so they punish you. You know.
Interesting. So talking about demonstrations,
trust me, Grandmaster Perry can do everything he says.
Oh, I know.
And it's done. I have seen him do many demonstrations over my life. He is also the first black belt to ever really talk to me that was not from my school.
So one of these shows, I'm going to see if I'm going to try to get you together. I'm going to try to get Grandmaster Naples and Grandmaster AJ Perry together to do demonstrations to show my audience that, you know, these things can be done, and they have been done over. I mean, if you're willing to do that. But so, speaking of demonstrations, you know, I go to different tournaments, I go to different schools any chance I get, and the art of the martial arts demonstration, I think, isn't what it used to be. Why do you suppose people don't do because Master Perry, he subscribes to the school that demonstrations should be done. Why do you think they're not done as much as they used to be?
It's hard to get a demonstration team together. If you're doing a team.
I'm just talking about even your master or a grandmaster or a master doing demonstrations. Not a team, not a competition or anything like that.
I couldn't tell you. The only thing I could tell you is that nowadays there are a lot of mink dojos. Okay? So these people can't really do what they prescribe, what they teach. They can't do
as I say, not as I do type thing.
Yeah, do what I tell you to do, because I don't have to. I am above showing you
beyond that, right?
I am beyond showing you that it can be done.
Yeah, no, I actually just talked to Master Perry last night, and I told him I'm going to do that nail demo. He goes, you got to train, you got to train, you got to train. He goes, I would keep training. I said, well, I'm going to do it someday. I'm going to do it.
I remember Mr. Naples told me to break a brick, you had to hit a concrete masonry unit 500 times a day, every day, every class. Okay, so I went to 3 classes, so I hit it 1,500 times a day. Okay, and breaking bricks was easy because you made your hand into a rock itself.
Right.
Okay, but you have to train. When I told one of my black belts you're a big guy, I'd like to show you how to break concrete. Oh, I can do it because I saw you do it.
The guy with the beard? The big guy?
No. This was another guy.
Okay.
He was 22 years old, and he is full of P&V. You know how that is. And he thought, well, I know everything. He said, well, I'll teach you how to break concrete. I said, why don't you do this? He goes, I can just do it. And wham! And he goes, oh my God!
Well,
he jammed his wrist because he tried to do it the way that I would do it. You know, he started 6 inch high, and I was like, no, I want you to come up here, and I want you to use your full body. You shouldn't have any problem breaking with it. You're a big, strong person. You've been palm striking for years. I've seen you do 4 boards that said you could break this concrete slab without any problem. But he didn't listen to me. He just tried to do it the way I do it. Now, I key break, which is like an inch away.
Right.
Okay, or less. And that's an energy break, not so much a physical break. Okay? And it takes you a long time to develop that ability. It's not overnight. I didn't start doing that like, oh, one day I just decided I'm going to do this and it's going to break. That's not how it works. You had to train and train and train.
Right. Well, when I tested for third dan, we went to black belt camp. Master Warren.
Your breaking at your test was phenomenal. I was very impressed with your ability to break concrete.
3 months prior to that, we went to black belt camp. We go to a camp up in southern Ohio, and we spend the weekend training the kids and training ourselves when we're testing. And we at the end of the camp, or middle of the camp, we get to break bricks. They put 3 bricks, non-spaced, flat. And I looked at Master Warren. I said, I'm going to break this with a punch. Just close fist, straight down punch. I broke my hand. So if you think that these concretes that these guys are breaking are fake or there's some sort of trick to it, there's not. Because what I did, instead of punching with these 2 knuckles here, my hand, I tilted my hand a little bit and I hit here and I broke these 2 knuckles. And it hurt for about 6 months. My wife yelled at me.
Grandmaster Steppen told me when he broke those 5 slabs, I said, do you always break your hand? Because every time I hit concrete, I break my hand when I punch it. Yeah. So because he would bump multiple. One, he probably didn't hurt himself, but because he was huge. His hand was twice the size of mine, you know, and so he was just a bear of a man, and I mean he hit like a bull. So
yeah, I never got the chance to meet him. I wish I would have, but
he was a fantastic.
He's got a couple books out that I'm going to read. Grandmaster Naples told me about, so I'm going to get my hands on them. And I'm going to read those up. So okay. What advice would you give someone wanting to start their martial arts journey today?
Check out the school.
Check out the school.
Don't believe what you see on the internet. Go and see the school. Talk to the instructor. Find out their lineage. Did they have a real instructor? Check out their instructor's lineage. You know, find out if this is traditional school or a McDojo or how many people get their black belt. If you know, there are a lot of schools say we are a black belt school. Okay, and so in a year and a half you get your black belt. Ours says we are a black belt school, but it takes you 4 years to get a black belt. And like I had one guy who was stuck at high blue belt for a year. He said, why am I still high blue belt? I said, when you start taking your training seriously and you become a green belt, I'll test you. He goes, what does that mean? I said, if I show you an intermediate form, you're still doing it at a white belt level. It's just a different form. I mean, you still look like a white belt. I said, so when I have you do a set of self-defense, you still look like a white belt. You haven't taken anything seriously. It's like you don't know what you're doing. And I said, no one gets a green belt who doesn't know what they're doing.
Yes, sir.
No one. Okay, you can make it to blue belt, but it's really hard to get the green belt without knowing everything you're supposed to know, because it's a halfway test to black belt.
Yes, sir.
Not that a person doesn't take it seriously, but they don't put the effort to become better. Because to become better, you start at this bar, right? Because you don't know anything. Then you get to this bar is raised a little, then the bar is raised a little. By green belt, the bar is from here to here, right? By black belt, the bar is up here.
Yeah.
By 5th dan, the bar is way up here. And you say, is that black belt the same as like Grandmaster Chum was as a black belt? No. Not everybody can be Grandmaster Chun Kebe. Not everybody can be Samuel D. Naples, Grandmaster. Not everybody can be A.J. Perry. Most people will never see 9th dan.
I could tell you
most people never
emphatically that I will probably never be a ninth dan in Taekwondo due to my age, due to my,
how old are you?
Could be mid-40s.
You could do it. You'll just be in your 80s.
No, I got to live to be 80, sir. So let's hope.
You doubt that?
I don't know.
There's your first failing.
Well, God has plans for us. God, and I'm not doubting it. God has, today's not guaranteed, or tomorrow's not guaranteed. Especially in the profession.
It's not, but if you have no goals, how do you ever get to tomorrow?
Well, that's true, but...
You can live for today, but expect tomorrow to come around.
Well, in the profession that I do, sir, there's a lot of violence.
I know what you do.
But that's all I'm saying.
But I've also known people who retired who never had to draw their pistol once.
Well, I wish I could say that I had never had to do that, but
I'm sure there's plenty of people who have.
Yeah.
And I've known many cops, actually. I trained several of them. And so... I know the dangers and I understand what you face, because I faced them only I was not a cop.
Well, I can say this. I'm happy I'm training. I'm happy I'm teaching. I'm happy as a third dan. I'll be tested for master this year, which I'm very excited about. And I'm just happy to grow my journey and keep going. And with mentors like you and Grandmaster Naples and Grandmaster Perry and Sosha Bohack, all these fantastic martial artists that I'm surrounded by, I'm very blessed because your students aren't surrounded by all those people because basically it's where they're at. I mean, they've got a fantastic instructor in you, and
thank you.
The people that you bring in, I'm sure, are fantastic martial artists. But I can honestly say, in the martial arts world, I am truly blessed with who I'm surrounded by and who's my Master Warren and who my mentors are. So, I'd like to thank you for being on the show today. An hour is not enough to cover everything, so I would like to bring you back on in 6 months.
Love to be back.
On the horizon, I'm going to interview your lovely wife and my cousin, third dan martial artist, Raina Murzda. So I'm really excited about that. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we take off?
Wherever you are in your journey, don't quit.
Yes, sir.
Don't give up. Every step in life is one step further than you were a moment ago. Every breath is one more breath than you were before. Plan for tomorrow, but live for today.
Yes, sir.
Okay? When you train, it might be the last time you train, or the last of many times that you train. So put everything into whatever it is you love as deeply as you can. You have friends, be as friendly and be as tied into your friends as you can. Family, be as tied into your family because you might not have them the next day. When Grandmaster Chun passed on, it was a huge blow. Our school could have closed, but we didn't. Out of honor for him, we continue, okay? The Grandmaster, the Battle of Worcester, it says on the medals, hosted by Grandmaster K.B. Chun and Master Chuck Murzda. Okay, at the time, Master, I never fixed the medal to say Grandmaster. Okay, because Grandmaster Chun was our Grandmaster. So if I'm going to put it in the same sentence, it's a little disrespectful. So I just hold it as Master Chuck Murzda. Okay, on the back of the medal. I started the tournament out of honor for him to bring back a tournament that he ran.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so hopefully it will run for many, many years. We're almost on our 30th. I think this year's our 30th year.
Fantastic.
So it's been a long time running.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to that, and I know that I'll be there. I'll be judging and scoring, and our students will be there, so we're looking forward to it, sir.
Well, look forward to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Tung Su.